Well, let's get some reaction to this news now about what's been happening in Gauteng. Just to reconfirm, Dr Bandile Masuku stepping aside, his wife Loyiso Masuku stepping aside from her position in the City of Joburg. An investigation now to be undertaken by the ANC's Provincial Integrity Committee. They want to see if wrongdoing was committed during a contract tender with that company controlled by King Madzakane Diko II, the husband of the presidential spokesperson, Kusela Diko. All of the people involved in this have denied wrongdoing. Bonginkosi Dlamini is a member of the provincial legislature in Gauteng for the Inkatha Freedom Party. Mr Dlamini, good afternoon to you. What's your reaction to all of this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Protest, and with your viewers at home. As the IFP, we are disgusted by the tenacity to continue trying to loot the state, more especially given the pandemic that we are in. So as the IFP, we reject this. We are appalled by it. South Africans are fed up of corruption. That is why in our statement on Monday, we called upon the Premier to make sure that there is serious investigation, not what the ANC Provincial Secretary today said, to say they have set out the process of the comrades cleaning themselves. It's not a question, it's the question of going deep into the rot, because it is MEC Masuku himself who went to the Premier to say there is about 19 companies that got these contractors irregular. Therefore, it is shameful for the ANC to be using this crisis that we have to continue the culture of looting. South Africans are sober. South Africans are angry. They want real answers. Yes, we do welcome the special leave for both the MMC and the MEC, and we want them to go to and they must cooperate with every investigation. We don't want an investigation that is aimed at wishy-washy. We want an investigation that will not only investigate this particular contractor for the Baca company, but the other 90 companies that are alleged to have got these contractors in a very wrong way. But the IFP is very appalled, and we reject any other form of corruption. We have been champions of clean government, and we cannot tolerate this.
Okay, I mean, you say that you believe that this investigation is just going to sort of, end up as a whitewash, I believe is the expression. But I mean, you've got the Special Investigating Unit investigating this. You've got the Health MEC. And I mean, let's just take a moment to realize how important this is. You've got the Health MEC in Gauteng in the middle of a surge, the most populous province, taking special leave. I mean, what else can be done? I mean, who else can investigate?
My biggest concern is, our biggest concern as the IFP, is that why only the SIU? Because we've got many investigative, watchdog institutions in South Africa. I'm very happy that the Human Rights Commission is coming to the fore. The Office of the Public Protector must come into the fore. It looks suspicious when it is the ANC who is going. It's like the ANC investigating itself. Therefore, as the IFP, we're not saying it should be the PIC, which is the internal ANC process, and then the SIU chosen by the ANC. All interested parties must be involved in the investigation of this looting by more than 91 companies in Gauteng.
I mean, and
it is worrying that as much as Dr Masuku was doing an excellent job in terms of combating, instead of responding to this COVID, and he has been doing a lot of good work. We have been getting a weekly briefing as party leaders in the legislature, and we have been very supportive. We have been making suggestions, but it's a tragedy. But our country comes bigger than an individual human being. We accept his moving aside so that somebody comes in, and we make sure that it was not about Masuku as a person, it was a collective effort. Therefore, we don't think that we will regress in terms of fighting the COVID.
Okay, Jacob Mamabolo, as I'm sure you know, is going to take over as the acting Health MEC. He's the MEC for Transport, already quite a big portfolio, doing quite a difficult time. But Jacob Mamabolo, certainly someone who knows the province. Is he the right person to take over as acting MEC? I mean, I realize you're an opposition party, but I know that you do support the provincial and national effort against the coronavirus. Do you believe he's the right person?
Well, it's not fair to judge a person before he performs, but in the two portfolios that he has been given, both human settlement and transport, I think he is trying his best. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's aware that we are in a war as a country and as a province and as the world. And I think there's a good team that Dr. Masuku has assembled in the department and the provincial command team, because it's not an individual show. But that is why we, as the IFP was saying, we must deal with corruption regardless of whether you are good or bad.
This entire affair really brings sort of a whole lot of strands together, right? We've got relationships, in some cases family relationships, we've got tenders, we've got allegations of corruption. We have a population, and I can't speak for everybody, but certainly I think we have South African citizens who are absolutely furious at corruption generally. You will have seen the reaction to the IMF loan, for example. And this really brings all of that to the fore. How do we change it? I mean, there's this idea, this perception that corruption has become entrenched in our country.
The biggest problem in South Africa, which was introduced by the ANC, and the biggest problem, it's that anything that is legally correct but morally wrong, it's fine. That is why, as the IFP, we were worried about the technicalities on the issue. We were very happy as the IFP when the king came out openly about the relationship. There were no denials this time to say, hey, we don't know each other, we just met. They thought in history there's a relationship. They did not deny the fact. But the big question morally is, even if the tender was done above board, the people were going to question the moral part of it, that how do you... It means that those people who are not next or have relationship with powers that be will not be able to get tenders. It creates that perception out there. But what makes me sleep at night is that at least the relationship was declared. Therefore, they must deal with the moral part of it. How can you then use the proximity to access tenders? It smells something. It's unacceptable.
Mr. Dlamini, I mean, you had a go at the ANC. I fully expected that you would. It is your right to, sir. But I do need to ask you, the IFP is also in government in some local municipalities, just for the record. This doesn't happen where the IFP governs?
I mean, when you look at Gauteng, for instance, there was hung municipalities, in fact, in almost all the metros, which are an economic engine not only of the province, but of the country and of Southern Africa. Therefore, everyone who is a player in the Gauteng politics must be consistent of it, that they cannot play fussy politics. We must look after the residents and the economy of this country. When you look at Swane, where the IFP is not there, there is chaos, there is no government. But where there is IFP, like in Mohale City, in the city of Johannesburg, and in Nguruleni, there is stability, there is government, there is service delivery. So therefore, we voted with the ANC after Mayor Mashaba resigned, because there was no government. People were showing off their power, not caring about what the city of Johannesburg want. Therefore, we voted on the principle. That is why even if the ANC is corrupt, we will not be ashamed, because we have not joined the ANC, we are not one party. We are a multi-party local government of unity, which is concerned about the future and the well-being of our Gauteng residents. Because if Johannesburg works, Gauteng works, and if Gauteng works, the country works.